So, Paul Sheeran, jeweller to the stars, jeweller to everybody. I cannot believe I got you in here today. How on earth did you find the time to come into Wedding Tip Wednesday podcast?
I heard about the coffee out here and you had me at hello.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm not even responsible for making the coffee. That's Dan, our lovely studio
Dan
manager.
is officially the man because that is the best coffee I've had now. I tell you, very appreciated. So,
Paul, how are you doing?
yeah, can't complain.
Yeah.
On the right side of the daffodils and just living the dream. So,
Busy.
Yeah, we are busy. We are very busy. You know, in work we've a lot going on, and you're at home. There's a lot going on. Like it's life is. I'm very lucky. Life is touch wood, very good. Yeah.
And tell me, so you were asking me, have I been into the new place? It's still in the same area on Grafton Street.
Yeah, well, just around the corner. So we've actually opened a few, to be honest with you. So we have on. You're familiar with Chatham Street?
Yes, I am.
So there's a new development there, beautiful new development there, and we've opened approximately 8 new units there. So it's very watch aimed.
Yes.
So all the international watch brands most of them have chosen us to work with in Dublin, and if not even in Ireland. So we've opened these beautiful watch boutiques, and it's the first time anything like this has ever been done in Ireland in the watch business. So that has been, so it's been a crazy journey for the last couple of years, getting it to fruition, getting them open, and and now making them work.
I'm making them work.
Yeah, I'm making them work, and they've been.
So is the watch thing like a big thing, Paul? I mean, excuse me, I'm very ignorant. I don't even have a watch on me.
Yeah.
But I do see an awful lot of watches at weddings.
Yeah, well, you know what? I often laugh at this, because the original secret engagement was a watch.
Yes.
It was a gold watch, and we'd have heard our parents. Do you know what? It was just I like you sort of thing,
There's a
I'm
watch.
serious. I have a direction we're going here, And if you were given a gold watch, particularly a gold watch back in the, let's say the 50s or 40s, whatever, it was kind of like,
the ring is coming.
Yeah, it's kind of, we're on a journey. And it was kind of like, we're serious. We're dating.
We're official.
We're official. And off you go. So wink, wink. And so it was just a lovely romantic thing. And we actually we developed some, it is brilliant. And then it's watches or something. They're, how do you put it? Diamonds are ladies' best friend, and watches are men's diamonds, is how I describe it. But so men will probably have more watches in general than ladies will, but at the same time, ladies love their good watches as well. So, and it's a total sentimental journey. I often say this in relationships, and we're talking about weddings today. You don't buy nice things for people you don't like. You buy them for the people you love.
Absolutely.
But when you decide the journey with your partner is your journey, the stakes get higher. So if you know what I mean, the jewellery is looked upon as good jewellery then. And I want something that you'll have.
Yeah.
So starting with that watch and engagement rings for ladies, watches for men.
Yeah.
We have loads of women buy nice watches as engagement presents the whole time for men. And
watches on the wedding day as a gift.
Yeah, but for each and every, a beautiful thing we did as well, very funny. I know stories are funny, but we have a lovely watch. We were talking about pronunciations earlier.
We have to talk about this because this had me cracked up.
I know, all this Tenerife. But we have the pronunciations in our business, and people are always asking us, how do you pronounce this and how do you pronounce that? But one of our brands is pronounced Jägerlökultre. So a lot of people might call it Jägerlökult, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day which way you pronounce it. But
it does for you.
Well, it does for us in the industry. We deal with a lot of our international brands, and it's very important we pronounce our brands correctly.
Yeah.
But there was one watch they have called the Reverso, and this watch is a beautiful watch. It was created in 1930, 1929 or 31, thereabouts. And the watch actually flips over. But I did I did a promotion a few years back, and it was lovely. It was called the Will You Marry Me watch. And so on the back of the watch, it's engraved, Will You Marry Me? Okay. So, of course, this is very romantic. And the idea was that it was with a lovely hotel in town here, and it was actually with the Marion. It was really nice. And
I like the Marion.
Yeah, well, who doesn't, And you can have a lovely package where you could go there, you could buy the watch and have a beautiful night. Sorry, the guy would have this all prearranged. So lovely romantic evening.
Yeah.
And most cases, this would go down very well. Yeah. In some cases, a girl would get this box and open it and kind of, a watch. You bring me you bring me to the Merrion. you bring me out for a gorgeous dinner, and you give me a watch. My nails are done. It's kind of like
the ring finger's ready.
The ring finger's ready, and she's looking at it, and then she gets a big box, and this is going to be one hell of a ring. And then she opens the box, and we had one guy who the girl burst into tears and ran out, and because she thought she was getting a ring, and next thing he said, no, turn the watch over. He said he had to explain the watch, and she flipped it over, and he says, I got you this watch today, and now we'd like to go down, and I'd like to buy a diamond ring to go with it. And so I talk about pulling it out of the bag. I said, like, you're some romantic, but it's lovely, and it's a gorgeous. So this particular watch is lovely for little messages on the back, and they're always hidden little engravings and gorgeous. So it's a really
that's amazing.
Yeah, I love
that's
that.
such a lovely idea.
It is a lovely idea, yeah, and it's really nice.
And tell me, like, have you any funny stories, Paul, about people coming in, to pick your ring in comfort?
Oh, I know, but you know what? The amount of Irish people who come in and say that on a cold day, what are you doing? I just want to come in and pick my ring. You're kind of, thanks. Never heard that one before. But get the drums out. No, you have so many funny stories. Like we often say we could write a book about it, and over. Like good stories, sad stories. Like our shop is full of happiness.
Yes.
And even, I hate saying the sadness is happy.
Yeah.
And when I say the sadness is happy, jewellery in its whole being, watches and jewellery are about sentiment.
Yeah.
And be it a daughter wearing her mother's jewellery, son wears his father's watch, a partner or, anyone who has anything from anybody else, a significance, they give it a rub and they think of that person. So, they just think of the person when they're holding it. Like I've got a watch in my wrist and you'll think of that watch when you touch it. Yeah. And any piece of jewellery you'll have a memory for exactly when you got it.
Yes.
And it's lovely to be on that journey. So we enjoy that in the shop. We have great fun, great crack. And generally speaking, it's all very, very, very happy, And even like, as I said, it's actually, I give you a story. It's funny, but it's actually sad, but it's funny.
Yeah,
and how do you put it? A happy outcome. So not every relationship works.
No, I can tell you that. Well, my relationship, I don't know about me. I've been in this industry a long time.
Yeah. But we had this guy many years ago, and a lovely guy. So we get to see people and get to see them at a very, how do you put it? It's the first time when people are getting engaged, it's a very intimate moment because they're kind of looking at each other, and they have a budget. Sometimes they haven't even had that question, and they're kind of looking at rings, and they're kind of, where we go with this, where we not go with it.
And do you have the price on them, Paul?
Yeah, we would. But you're trying to saying in a jewellery shop, like price is not a problem. Yeah. I don't mean about it. It's kind of a silly thing because, that can go anywhere.
That's true.
How many zeros do you want on the end of it?
Yes.
And I suppose we're there to try and make everyone feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So for us, it's trying to, look, money's a thing you don't want to talk about.
I know.
But sometimes I actually love if a guy coming into me and I'll turn around to him and I'll say, okay, look, let's cut the crap before you come in.
What's your budget?
Help me out here so I can help you out.
Yeah.
What price point do you want to go to? And if he says between 6 and 10, I said, well, do you know what I'm going to say to you? I'm going to say to you, take it at 10.
Yeah.
Buy the best ring you can on the day you're buying it, because this is something you'll have forever.
Absolutely.
And it's not me trying to be a better salesman or anything.
Yeah.
If you want one for 5, knock yourself out if that's what you're happy with. But buy the best ring you can on the day, because this is the forever ring in most cases, you know? Yeah. But anyway, we had this, the reverse of that can happen. So we had this couple in and they hadn't had a conversation. Oh, and so they start chatting and I want bigger.
Bigger.
And she said, okay, whatever price the ring was, she turned around and said, no, that's the one. And he's looking and he's kind of going, okay. And he said, look, it's kind of more than I can afford.
Yeah.
And she said, well, that's what I want.
Oh, God.
And he said, look, I can't. And so at that point, we're kind of, look, why don't we leave you guys alone? And we'll let you have a little chat and we'll come back in a few minutes. We have other prices, whatever. And she said, no. And she said, that's the one I want. So next thing, we are sitting there, and it's not that we're relationship counselors, but sometimes you are in our business. We're like therapists, and people are upset, they're happy. So she goes away out of the shop and he says, okay. He says, look, and he was such a nice guy. He said,
oh God, Paul,
he said,
so embarrassing.
Look, she said she won't marry me if I don't get her this ring. So he said, and instantly the girls in our shop were all kind of going inside, run, okay?
And jumping her.
And he said, but I want to marry her. Yeah. So he said, can I pay for this ring over the next 7 or 8 months?
Yeah.
and come and collect it then. He said, I'll work my hardest and I'll pay off it every month.
Paul, you're going to be crying now.
Everyone in the shop was kind of, absolutely you can, and no worries. So he did, and he was a gentleman. And he would come in, this is back in the day when wages were a thing, to use the phrase. And he would have come in every week and he'd have paid money off this ring. That was thousands. And he came in. So anyway, he was pretty much, I'd say, about a month away from collection. And he came in one day and he said, oh, yeah. And all the girls in the shop had got to love him. So every time he came in, he'd have a cup of coffee and how are you getting on? And he was just a lovely human. We never saw the girl again. But he came in, he says, bad news. And we're there, what's wrong? And he says, she's dumped me. She's seen someone else. He says, I'm devastated. And of course, no, but for us in the shop, it was quite funny because we were all going, don't worry. You've dodged a bullet. Which is terrible to say. And we're looking at actually, this is not the end of the world. There's plenty of fish in the sea. And you're such a nice guy. You will have no problem. But he was so nice. Do you know what he turned around and says? Do you know what, guys? I've worked so hard. He said, do you mind if I keep paying for this ring? Because when I do meet the right girl, he said, I want to give her that ring. And the bittersweetness for us in the shop, we were kind of saying, you're just a gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. But you know what? Do you really think it's a good idea? Like, why don't we just do a refund and come back with the new girl and pick the new ring when you're ready. But I said, like, how could you give the ring? This is the ring for my ex that she dumped me for. Exactly. But I'd like to give it to you. No. So we were trying to think, maybe don't go that road.
And you're so right, because jewellery does have a memory.
Oh, yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? So that would probably, spur that memory up for him.
But he was so nice and he was so lovely. And as I said, was there ever a day in the shop we were happy we didn't sell a ring? We were actually all thrilled. It's a terrible thing to say. But you're delighted because you do want it to work. We did, yeah.
And did he come back?
Do you know what? I'm not sure. I personally didn't see him. But he was just a lovely being. And that was what it was all about. And it just made us, it's actually sometimes sad because it is, diamond rings cost so much money.
Absolutely.
And there is so much, but we love to see on the other side of that. I have another story. This is funny, and it's a guy who knows me well, and I could shame him now.
Go on,
my brother-in-law. There you go. And when he was getting engaged, he was kind of looking at this ring, and he wanted to get engaged to my sister, and he was like, "Geez, that's a huge amount of money." And I said, "Yeah, it is." I said, "It is. You've picked a very nice ring, and it's gorgeous, but I know she's going to love it." Yeah. And he was going, "But it's a diamond," and he was kind of, "I can't put any justification on this. It's a diamond." He was saying. God. And I was kind of going, "Yeah, but." See, a lot of guys don't understand it, and he was kind of looking at it, it's a diamond, Paul. And I said, you know what? I'm not even going to be, like, how do you put this? I said, I'm like, this is you, my brother-in-law. Yeah. I said, I'm not making any money out of you. So I'm going to be really frank. Yeah. I mean, I'm not making any money. Buy the bloody ring. I know you have money. Yeah. And we were laughing.
Get it
And he was laughing at me, kind of saying, well, where's my cup of coffee? And so anyway, he bought the ring, and that was that. Of course, he bought the ring. He's lovely. So anyway, about 6 months or a year later, we're all on a boys' weekend somewhere, and he turned around and he says, I get it now, Sheeran. And I said, what do you mean I get it? About the diamond ring. There was someone else thinking of getting engaged. He says, I didn't get it originally, but I get it now. Yeah. And he says, do you know what? He said, I was away there recently with my sister, and he said, we're sitting on an airplane, and he said, I saw her looking at her hand on her own. He said, just on her own moment. I'm sitting here on the plane, flying wherever, and he said, she's sitting there just looking at her ring. And he said, at that moment, I got it for the first time. Yeah. How much it meant to her.
That's goosebumps stuff, Paul.
Yes, but it's lovely. Yeah. And they're very happily married, and they're 5 kids later. And
and she loves her ring.
And she loves her ring. There you go. And him too. So that's nice,
That's a lovely story.
Yeah, no, but it's just a nice, and that's how, it's just a nice, it's a lovely world. Yeah, and as I said, so he who just appreciates it at a later stage. I get it now, you know.
So, and do they come in, Paul? Like, somebody said to me recently, she's actually a singer at weddings and she's big into her diamonds. Yeah. And she went off and she did a course on diamonds. I wouldn't have a clue. Now, I'm very ignorant when it comes to the whole thing. But she would say there's 5 C's. Is that right? What's the 5 C's?
Technically, there's 4 and then the additional one.
Go on, what are they?
The colour, the cut, the clarity, the carat weight. Yes. So colour of the diamond. Yeah. It's the first thing. They range in colours from D to wherever you want on the colour scale. The clarity is the amount of marks within the actual diamond. Yes. What to say? The colour, the clarity. The carat weight is the weight of the actual diamond. Is it a 1 carat, 2 carat? Yeah. And then we have the cut of the diamond. So if you take let's say a piece of mala, okay, it's a shape. Right. You can shape it any way. But a diamond has a particular shape it should be. So the most important thing about a diamond is what we call the cut, because the cut is what gives it the refraction, the reflection.
Okay.
And if it's badly cut, so you can have a 1 carat diamond that can be wide and flat.
Okay.
You can have a 1 carat diamond that can be thin and deep.
Okay.
So there's a correct proportion of that diamond. And if it's cut properly, it just cuts you out of your head. So very, very important. And then the fifth C is the uncomfortable one. It's the cost.
So for those, Paul, who don't really know about carats, because let's be honest, you know everything there is to know about diamonds. Yeah. There are so many women out there who probably do, but there's so many women out there who don't. What are they looking at a carat when they're looking for a ring? Are they looking at the weight, or what should they be thinking?
Some people will eat with their eyes. Yeah. So they're going to come in and they just want big. Yeah. And big doesn't necessarily mean brilliant in diamond terms. Yeah. Like we see a lot of big diamonds that are very, very bad. Right. So a diamond is a combination of all of those 4 C's together. Right. So the 4 of them together come together and they create the magic of a beautiful diamond ring. Okay. Then you have the cost. Yeah. So with all due respect, I could love this diamond over here, but it may just be too much money. Right. So you have to fit in with your budget and try and get the one that suits you. Yeah. And then within those grades of quality, people will have their importance. So some people won't care about the clarity and they might be happy to have a big mark in their diamond. Okay. Other people want it very clean. Mm-hmm. And then color-wise, some people. So the average, we would have what we call our house diamond, a house wine, is what we call an ESI1. So it's a very high quality diamond and always triple excellence. And we only do the best cuts. Right. So we try to, you said something a second ago, Jenny, like you don't know. Yeah. Most people don't know. And also
I haven't a clue.
Yeah. But weddings and diamonds are like a baby. There's something that happened for a period of your life. Yeah. And I often wonder you've got a couple who are in a relationship at the point that the switch is clicked that we're going to look at rings. You're on the sofa, you're looking at Instagram, you're looking at styles, and then you go to the jeweler. So it's a very quick window, and you're trying to learn about diamonds. So the guy's worried about the quality, and he's coming in. Also, sometimes they come in with a
list of stuff.
Well, all of a sudden they want to get into the refractive index of this diamond, and you're kind of going like, no girl in her is it, when you open a box. Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, it's the diamond.
Oh my God.
It's
wow. Gorgeous. Yeah. Exactly. So what we try to do is take a lot of the pain and make it an easy process, an enjoyable process. Our job is to make sure the diamonds are right. We only sell certificated diamonds, and certificated means they're assessed by a third party, generally speaking by the GIA, which is the Gemological Institute of America. It's the highest form. Brilliant. And so they're all... they are what they are. Yes. So, and do you go for a G? Do you go for an F? Do you go for an E? There's so little difference. Right. There is differences, but they're so minimal.
So what do you mean you go for G and F? What does
that
mean?
It's the colour. Yeah. So different grades of white. Okay. But they're all good. Yes. So very often then you've got the setting that it's sitting in, and people sometimes forget about that, because the easiest way to cheapen a ring, to use a phrase, is just go for a lesser quality mount. Right. So the mount that it's sitting in is so important, and people forget that sometimes. So sometimes it can be a race to the bottom if I need the cheapest ring, and that's not a good plan, because this is a lifelong ring.
Absolutely.
And, we see people sometimes, we end up fixing problems for people who've thought they're saving money. So you can have a short-term, what is it called? A short-term saving. Yeah. I'm not sure what the exact phraseology is.
Long-term.
A nightmare. Yeah. So it is one of those things. Like I said to my brother-in-law, it's a good ring. You'll have it forever. Yes. Buy it. And if you have the money, great. Once it's not a problem.
I'd say you probably have people coming into you who work in all different industries and who have all different types of budget. But I would often see at weddings, Paul Sheeran on the box, and I think, do they have a few bob? I kind of know by the wedding if it's like a big, big money wedding or if it's just a general kind of, because I do an awful lot of weddings where there's lots and lots of money. But she might want a Paul Sheeran diamond, and he might have had to save up a long, long time for that. So what is the general price range, or is there a general price
Jenny,
range?
There is. I don't think there's any given answer to that. Yeah. And I don't like people to be put under pressure.
Yes.
So I often say to guys who are kind of, or, you know, what should we spend?
Yeah.
What are you comfortable spending? Now, again, there's the old wives' tale of spend a month. Other people might say spend 2 months' salary or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, honestly, is it worth your while putting yourself under pressure?
Yes.
To buy like a diamond ring. So I have this, I think it's a lovely
10
story.
grand.
But
Is it 10 grand?
Yeah, but if you have 10 grand, like 10 grand's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
You know, 3,000 is a lot of money.
3,000 is a lot of money.
And the old saying, I often say it to my team in the shop, you know, when's the last time anyone spent €1,000 on themselves?
Yeah.
€1,000 is a huge amount of money.
It is.
And if you go to spend it, you have to think about it. So when you bring that up the ladder, then how much money is 10,000 is a lot of money.
It is a massive amount of money.
So,
and I just threw that out there, by the way.
No. But Jenny, it's appreciating.
Because I don't know.
No, but we would, and in Ireland we would sell, like, you know, we would sell a lot of rings between the 5 and 10 area.
Yeah.
And, you know, but again, there's no right, there's no wrong. We can sell rings of 50,000.
Yes.
You can sell rings of 2,000.
Yeah.
So everyone has their budget, and we try to work with. We have our own workshops, we have our own goldsmiths, so we generally try to make people happy and bring them on their journey, and how can we make that work for you?
So can you make a ring from scratch?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have the goldsmiths upstairs, and they're just brilliant, lovely. You know, they're fantastic Italian. It's actually funny. They're most of our goldsmiths are Italian.
Right.
And they laugh with me because I can speak fluent Italian.
Can you?
And absolutely, I just add a 0 to the end of every sentence. And the girls in the shop are just buckled over laughing. How does he go in? And he talks with, lads, what is going on today? And they look at me and they kind of, yes, we know, Paul, you know. And we have this lovely conversation in broken English, broken Italian, and we come out, they know what I've said.
And they're happy.
I know what they've said. We're all happy. And they've got their Irishisms, I've got my Italianisms, and it's just enjoyable, but they're just brilliant. And they're, you know, it's actually, we had a lovely, they're just gorgeous. They came to so much happened back in our lives, Jenny, from 2000 to now.
How long do I know you?
Yeah, it's 2000. We're talking about it. Yeah. But if you take 2000 was when, like, Ireland was liftoff.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ireland was crash.
I know.
And again, and now it's kind of rebuilding, and it's still rebuilding over that. There's a lot of people.
I just remember you in my charity days. I know you told me not to say it, but I'm saying it anyway. You were amazing with charities, Paul. Like, you were so bloody generous. I just remember I used to work for the ISPCC. I worked on their, not complimentary, I did it voluntarily. Yeah. And I worked, and we used to sort of organise ladies' lunches, and we used to organise that big ball once a year. I'll never forget the money that people used to spend on those balls. But you were incredible, just incredible. So, you know, and you know, you're all very shy now and you've gone very quiet. But you were. That's not to tell every charity in the country to go getting in touch with you. But I still know that you're very involved with charities.
Look, everyone does, but everyone is. You know, and everyone has a cause close to their heart. And, you know, there's...
Mine is Laura Lynn, by the way. Just put it out there.
Laura Lynn. It's gorgeous. And like, there's so many nice charities, and they're all worthy. And you know, we were talking earlier. I cycle with a bunch of guys, and Paris to Nice, and they're the little, you know, think it's a great way of raising money and cycling and trying to, you know, there's always a way to do it, and you always have a friend who's in need.
Yes.
And it's actually, I think that's the nice thing about it. And we as a bunch of friends, right, if someone had it, right, we'll get behind you this time. Yeah. And we take it in turn, and who'd want their charity, and we'd all go and we'll have barbecues or do what it is. And you know what? You're actually generally having fun. Yeah. So, you know, how do you bring fun to make some money? And people don't mind. And it doesn't always have to be ridiculous amount of money.
I know.
It's just going the right direction.
Yeah.
And
you're just I just
no, it's
remember.
Not, it's everyone. But Ireland is. Yeah. Ireland is one of the most charitable nations in the world, I think. Yeah. So the Irish people are givers. Yes. You know, in both time, smiles, and you know.
But do anything on them, Paul.
Oh, I know. It's actually a funny thing. Yeah. I'm always saying this. We have to be more, that lovely word at the moment of elevating each other. Yes. I hate knockers, and I love I love people who just, well done. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And, and in our store, I see it, that, you know, it's with these new watch shops we've opened, some people will turn around to me and say, Paul, but who are you aiming this at? Yeah. You know, and I'm kind of looking at, do you think you're the only guy that can buy a nice watch? Yeah. You know, like, Ireland are very successful people, but sometimes we're a bit afraid to admit that we're doing okay.
Yeah.
That's
and such an Irish thing, isn't it?
And they'll hide it. So they'll sometimes hide their diamond ring or they'll hide something.
I'll show mine off.
Yeah, but Jenny, do you know what? I'm always saying to people, look, what's wrong with telling people?
Speaking of my ring, right? I got this in Powerscourt in a shop in there, right? And there is a story behind that.
Yeah.
I bought it during COVID. Lady Diana, who I just think is like, listen, since I was knee high, just loved her. And I thought one day...
Actually, is it her anniversary?
Isn't it?
Is it today?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Is it today, the 31st?
I think
should know that, shouldn't I?
There we go.
Bless her.
Boom shakalak.
Bless her.
And do you remember where you were at the time?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
my daughter was newborn. Yeah. My daughter was a few days old. I was lying on the sofa doing that lovely daddy-daughter pose, just pajamas on and lying on at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning when the news broke. So God love her. Anyway, here's the Lady Diana.
Bless her.
Go on, sorry, Jenny.
And I always said, one day I'm going to have a ring like that.
Yeah.
And I went in during COVID and spotted the ring and decided to buy it for myself. And Martin helped me too. Yeah. But so there is a story behind every piece of jewellery.
Every piece of jewellery.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Martin wouldn't. He'd want to duck if that comes at him. I tell you, he's well branded. I always wonder where that mark on the side of his face is. I now know what it is.
Can I ask you, right? Because it's an antique, right? It's 1921 or whatever, lovely. Right? But I'm going to be honest, I bought this as a platinum, as a white gold, right? And it's gone gold on me now. Why has that happened? This does happen sometimes too.
But that ring there was probably rhodium plated,
right?
Which made it go, which is white. It's a white coating, sort of that goes on it, and that's worn off. So it's a natural. It is a yellow gold ring.
Yes,
but you can rhodium plate it to make it white.
Yeah,
but it's probably better to.
I'm just going to leave it now.
Yeah, well, I actually think. Do you know what? It's more in keeping to the time.
Yes,
and it's a beautiful ring.
Yeah,
it is a stunning ring.
Thank you. Oh God, he's looking at my ring now.
No,
Thank
it
you.
is. It is a fine
but
ring.
Yeah, no, there definitely is something behind every piece of jewellery. Yeah, there's a story. And I love the stories.
That is, like, we kind of, it is a total journey. And it's one of the things we work hard at within our company, because you have probably one dentist.
Yes.
You have probably one solicitor.
Yeah.
And a jeweler can sometimes be like that. We start off with people who have... We're around since 1990, actually. Yeah. And I still have people coming back to me. Now it's funny because now their kids are coming into us. Wow, so I've actually seen the second generations and now the third generations, which makes me laugh. That I'm kind of going, is this actually happening? That they're buying presents for their kids. God. I often think, I have a very silly sense of humour, but I love Vince Vaughn movies and that whole genre movie. And it's kind of, is that their kid coming into me? Did I sell their engagement? Their grandparents ring. What? What?
Paul, you only look 35,
Yeah, sure I do.
And tell me then, so we've just been talking about...
Put those on.
I better put my glass. They're my reading glass. I won't be able to see if I put those on. But, we've talked about engagement rings.
Yeah.
And we've talked about watches, but let's just talk about watches a little bit more because very often, probably 90% of the time, I'm photographing a groom opening up a beautiful gift from his bride-to-be or his partner-to-be, and it's a watch. Yeah. Are there specific watches that you do? What are your favourite ones? What are the most bought? There's 3 questions for you.
Do you know what? What is your favourite one? The one that's on my wrist is probably today's favourite.
What's it called?
Today I'm wearing a Tudor, and I absolutely adore this watch. And again, for me, with watches, people kind of sometimes assume, oh, you have every watch, Paul, because you have all these shops. I don't. And again, I bring it back to sentiment. I generally have a watch for a reason.
Right.
And the watch I'm wearing today, I got when I got the agency for Tudor, which was a very, very big step for me. Yeah. So, every time I get a watch brand, it's a personal career achievement. It's like a promotion at work.
Yeah.
And I try to say to myself, okay, I'm going to treat myself.
I deserve this.
To one of their watches. So we've one of our brands, Panerai, which I wanted one for my 40th birthday. I'm 56 now. I wanted one for before that. But I'd never buy one because I didn't have the agency.
Right.
And this year we just got the agency. So I'll celebrate. So my purchase this year for myself, and I said I don't treat it lightly, if you know what I mean. It's just this watch will be it's kind of like they often say in life, how do you celebrate any success? Yeah. And I just said, that's going to be my little treat to me. Quietly. I don't want anyone to buy it. It's not what it's about. It's about me.
It's about you.
Doing it for me.
Yeah, And would it be down then to budget again?
And I can't take it out of stock. I have to pay for it. So
you have to pay for it,
unfortunately, yeah.
Otherwise you'll have the revenue after you.
I have my blooming accountant in a headlock. He'll have me in a headlock. Yeah, and the revenue,
So I would see an awful lot of tag watches at weddings.
Yeah. So Tag is brilliant. Like but all of these brands, we have lovely, lovely brands. We have Tag Heuer, we have Breitling, we have Tudor, we have Hublot. We then go to Cartier, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Panerai, IWC, and we have Longines. So and then in another store we've opened Montblanc. So it's actually very, very funny. So, but all of the watches have a different, how do I put it, association.
Right.
Tag Heuer would be Steve McQueen in 1969 in the movie Le Mans. I don't even remember him, that famous movie. And he was wearing a Tag Monaco. Right. And there's nearly a smell of petrol in the Tag environment, because they work with Porsche. One of their watches is called the Carrera, which is 60th anniversary at the moment of the Porsche Carrera and the Tag Carrera. Right. So it's a motorsport sort of heritage.
Okay.
But it's not all about men. They have lovely ladies' watches as well. So gorgeous ladies' Carreras. And so it's a male-female world, but there's sort of an avant-garde sportiness to Tag.
Yes.
If you go over to Breitling, you might have more of an aviation direction.
Right.
And they also have, recently they've changed, so they're working with Brad Pitt and different actors and different like triathlon teams, Kelly Slater, and adventure watches as much as, the aviation side of it. So you already smell airline fuel.
Yeah, yes.
Then if you go back to Tudor is nearly what we call a tool watch.
Right.
So it's kind of an adventurous watch. So you think of someone going to the Antarctic or like that, and
that's all very interesting.
Yeah, but it's also under the roof of Rolex. So you've got that really high quality watch you're buying, and it's probably it's the highest quality watch at the most affordable price, if you know what I mean. So very good value watch in its price point. And then we go to Hublot, which will be more architectural, if I was to say, a fusion of materials and different, you might have a yellow watch, a red watch. You'll see some of the famous tennis players wearing them and they're kind of, holy moly, that's a watch. And then we go to Cartier, which needs no introduction. It's like every woman
one
I know.
Day, Paul.
One day. You've got that reaction. And it's just like kind of like, for me, it's like that opening a box of chocolates. Oh, you have me at a low. So Cartier is just beautiful.
Yes.
And you think of Paris, you think of New York, you think of London, the three pillars they call
Sexy. That's what I'd say
absolutely.
About Cartier.
And elegant and just so stylish. And just, these are not, fashion. There's none of these are fashion watches, because all of these watches, as you say, why do you get one for a wedding present? Because you'll have it when you're a granddad. There's another brand out there and they coined the phrase, you never actually own their watch, you're simply looking after the next generation. But that's the same as your diamond ring.
Absolutely.
That's jewellery and watches as a whole.
Yes.
So but then we go into, as I said, every journey is different. We move into Jaeger-LeCoultre, which they'll say is the watchmaker's watch. So someone who's more, and a higher price watch. So someone who bought a Tag, will grow, if you know what I mean. And they'll grow in their journey and they might buy the other watches. And a lot of people, Jaeger-LeCoultre would be just one of the top 4 to 5 brands of watchmaking. So it's phenomenal heritage, so it's just a beautiful watch.
Yes.
Then we move into Panerai, which would be a little bit more, I'm going to call it funky, but it's still watchmaking. The Italian Navy used to wear them. It originated in Florence.
Wow.
And it sold with it was only available to the Italian Navy until 1996.
Right.
And then the Richemont Group took over the brand and then launched it onto the wider market, I think in the late 1990s. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful watch. And I love it because it's kind of just, there's some of them that are big watches. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jason Statham, all these guys wear them, but they wear them, there's no paid ambassadors. So it's funny.
Really?
They're very strict on it.
Really?
So that brand, it's actually funny.
Brand, okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's comical. Like it's actually the guys who wear it because they want to, but
they've bought it.
But it's real adventurous watches.
Brilliant.
It's really special watch. And then we move into IWC, which is, IWC always makes me smile. It's just the nicest watch brand. And again, true watchmaking brand from Schaffhausen in Switzerland, which is in the German part of Switzerland.
Yeah.
But what was lovely, so IWC, I always think this is funny because in the, they're not cheap, let's say that. They started probably about 5,000 and work up.
Right.
But in the recession of 2008, we actually did very well with IWC because in the recession, because IWC, we kind of coined the phrase that the people who need to know the brand, the people who don't.
Yeah.
So an awful lot of people, you could wear a very commercial watch for a third of the price and people kind of look at your man, who does he think he is?
Yeah.
Where with IWC, most people didn't realize the brand.
Right.
So a guy could be wearing 40,000 €1,000 watch or a £15,000 watch on his wrist, and I have no money. And you're kind of, I was saying, how can you say that? You know? So I just always smiled at people who wanted to buy something good. It was below radar, elegant watch that didn't say, look at me.
Yes.
And that back to what we're talking about, Irish people like that as well.
Yeah.
We're not all flash. We like
and then
for
for the bride to be, you know, like I very often see tennis bracelets.
Absolutely,
They are probably the number one.
Tennis bracelets and earrings.
And earrings.
And pendant for a wedding day are the three sort of to-go-to areas. And
really?
A lot of girls on a wedding day, she might have a shorter sleeve on her dress. And a bracelet just is neat, nice.
And not a watch on a wedding day for a woman.
Yeah, you know, but no, I was
they
told.
Never wear them.
No, I know that. You know, it's all. Well, don't forget, it's all about the dress. You know, on a wedding day, everyone. So it's all about that, and even the jewelry touches. Like we would be trying to protect sometimes girls to say, kind of, it is all about the dress.
Yes.
And guys who want to buy a piece of jewelry, we're kind of saying, look, that might be good for life, but on the wedding day,
not good for the wedding day.
Not good for the wedding day.
So that's what they have to remember about that as well, because very often there's a piece of jewelry given and it just doesn't go with the dress.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, a lot of guys, like, so in fairness to men, they're trying to do their best.
I know.
And, you know, I get so irritated when people say Irish men are not romantic, because I'm telling you what, you know, they're the best. We just have a different.
My husband is very romantic.
But we just have a different way, and we do it with a sense of humour.
Yes,
so we may not be stereotypical Italian on a gondola, if you know what I mean. But there you go. But we'll do it with a smile, and you'll laugh, and there'll be a story. And that's what's nice. But anyway, where was it going? We're
talking about tennis bracelets.
Oh yeah, but the tennis bracelet again is that one bracelet that just. It's nearly, I'm not going to say it's a uniform, but it's a part of the whole, every girl would like one.
Yeah.
And a diamond pendant and diamond earrings, and she's got her jewellery collection.
Would that be the most bought piece of jewellery for a bride to be for a wedding?
That or the earrings. And the earrings in particular would be very good, because if you take the neckline, so if you've got a low or a high neckline, so a guy might know that.
Yes, no, generally they don't.
And again, a lot of girls will wear the hair up on the day. So if we can't do any research and find out what the neckline is like, and sometimes we have to, if we know the guy well, we can actually kind of just listen to us. Yeah. This works, you know, honestly. And there's a reason. So, you know.
So would you then make a hazardous guess when it comes to picking the earrings that, if you didn't know the neckline?
Again, solitaires are very easy. And again, there's a wearability to them that you can play them, you can wear them in the gym. Yes. You can wear them to a black tie ball. Yeah. So, and you can wear them to the office. Yeah. And there's something most girls want. Right. So if I was to say, write your own list of 6 pieces here, your basic wardrobe, but take a pair of denim jeans. Yeah. Okay, it's like that. It's a little black dress. Yeah. There's certain pieces of clothing that will be in everyone's wardrobe. And jewellery has a very similar, guys, a dress ring, an engagement ring, an eternity ring, a wedding band. Yeah. You know, then jewellery there's studs can be worn all the time. And then maybe, financially, if it allows, a dressier pair of earrings for more.
Chanel, do you do that?
We don't, unfortunately. No. But the thing is that you can do that, you know. But that's my point. There's so many different things out there. But you know, but the classic diamonds are forever. Yes. Where the fashion brands come and go. Absolutely. If you know what I mean. The trends will come and always go.
Oh, so when
you're spending money, we always say don't. Yeah. Like we would, our solitaire collections are simple, stylish. Diamonds, we kind of joke in the industry that your left hand, this is the one that lasts forever. Yes. So it's not about fashion, it's classic, and you're not reinventing the wheel. Yeah. Sometimes we can look at people's hands and say, you bought that ring in the 70s, you bought that one in the 80s.
Really?
So you can follow
the look.
You can follow the looks, yeah. But like the simple classic jewellery, it was, you know, you said this ring was an antique ring. Yeah. But this style of ring is selling today in its new form. It's not.
They're flying.
It's a sapphire ring is still one of our most successful.
Really.
Diamond rings.
Engagement ring. Would they buy
Not necessarily for an engagement ring, but we will have people, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm funny about this, because I always think of the longevity of it. My mum's engagement ring was a sapphire, right? And it's a bit like Trigger's broomstick 6 sapphires later, you know. So these sapphires are quite a soft stone, and a lot of people don't realize how soft they actually are.
Does anybody ever mix them up with another diamond? I can't remember the name, but it comes so bad. Somebody recently said to me, "Is that really a sapphire?" And I was like, "Well, he told me it was."
Yeah, no, it is. But I love them as you have it, as a dress ring. Yes, because if it's getting worn every day, it's getting knocked, banged, and there's nothing wrong with it. If someone, how do you put it? I sell them with not a health warning, that's wrong to say, but buyer beware, because they do need to be minded, that's all. Right. And they're a little bit softer. So a diamond is the hardest natural substance in the world. Right. So that's why diamond lasts forever, as the saying goes. But even a diamond can get damaged. So you have to understand it and work with it and know the ins and outs of it. Yeah. But it's it's trying to find the right ring for the right person. Yeah. And sometimes as I said, we're guiding someone when they come in to pick a ring. So we're trying to find out about your life. We're trying to find out and very often somebody might come into us and say, okay, that actually happened the other day. Yeah. Show me anything, but not a solitaire. And what do they walk out of the shop with?
A solitaire. Oh my God, it's always the way, isn't it?
So it's actually, people haven't tried them on. And often they're turning around, well, Mary has one, and Lucy has one, and Sinead has one. Yeah. And I don't want one like my friend. But they're not. Every ring is different. And I do say to people sometimes, again, experience is a great thing. Yeah. Are the friends you're hanging around with today the same friends you hung around with 30 years ago? Yeah. Not always. Yeah. There might be one or two, but not everybody is the same. So you buy your ring, close the doors and look at rings for you and have this moment as your dream moment. And don't worry about anyone else in the world. Pick the ring. It's all about you.
And tell me, do you give them moet when they go in?
Moet.
Let's talk about moet versus moe.
Back to pronunciations again.
It is actually pronounced moet.
Moet.
That is how you say
absolutely.
it. Yes.
Do you know? So we're smiling ourselves. We do part of the celebration is obviously bubbles, not bubbles, coffee, whatever it is your thing is your thing. Exactly. Yes. And it's actually it's lovely. It's just really enjoyable. But it's nothing like a glass of bubbles to put the smile on someone's face. Absolutely. And a pint. Yeah. And a pint.
And do you give them the bubbles when they pick the ring or during the process?
Whatever they're comfortable with. Right. So it's a moment of celebration. So when people come into our store, it never doesn't make me smile. Yeah. Because it is one of the biggest days in a couple's life. Yeah. And they've taken a day off. They're made their appointment. They're coming into the store. It's a big day. It's not just a chore. It's not like we're going to DID to buy a washing machine. Yeah. This is actually, they're probably going to go out for the afternoon. Decision. Yeah, but not only that, they probably have, honestly, if we go look at the wider pressure, he's probably gone talk to her mum and dad. Yeah. If you know what I mean, he's a nervous wreck. Oh, they're coming into the store. They're picking a ring. They are a nervous wreck. He wants to make her happy. Yeah. She wants to make him happy. Yeah. They want to get the ring that they're both thrilled with. And, so a couple of bubbles just helps. Yes. Have a glass champagne. Enjoy the experience. And sometimes don't put so much pressure on yourself, we're always saying. And then afterwards, they're probably going to go for lunch in one of the nice restaurants in Dublin City. Enjoy their experience or a beer or whatever their thing is. Yeah. And then you probably find they're going home to the family that evening to tell everyone. Aww. The friends are all in the pub that night or something like that, and they don't know that, but they're all meeting and they're going to announce the engagement that evening. And it's a total exciting time. It's an experience. So we see it as being, it does bug me when it becomes a commodity. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of look at people and kind of, you're not taking the good out of it for me. Yeah. Then you're turning me into a salesman. I can do that all day long. Yeah, yeah. But you're taking the good out of it for yourselves. Yes. And this is just something lovely. Enjoy it.
Would you get many people going in and picking the ring themselves and then going and surprising? Or would you get the couple coming in?
Yeah, no, we get both. And we do get both. And I have to say, I never don't. Do you know what? I don't think in our whole existence, I'm not sure if we had one girl. I can't remember. If we've only had one or two, that's all, whoever changed the ring.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And, we have had the odd no. And, that's different. So that's a different scenario.
Or they say, no, I don't want to marry you.
Yeah, that has happened. Oh. But you know what? We're here for the guy because it's not like, and our interest in that, I love when I see a guy coming in on his own because I think, and all I want to know is, tell me about the engagement. What have you got planned? And can we help? Yeah. Because we have so many connections in Dublin and not just Ireland. How can we make it better? So, if we know you're going somewhere in the West or wherever, I know a hotel down there. Yeah. Why didn't you go here? This guy's brilliant. He'd be thrilled to have you on his journey. Yeah. And so Ireland is we are the best fun. And we love the crack, as we say, and we love good stories. So if someone's getting, like, look at it when it's a birthday and a restaurant sings happy birthday. You know,
everyone gets involved.
Yeah, but we should get involved. Because like when you sit down and go, oh, it's his birthday. Oh, you know, well, how good do you feel when it's your birthday? You know what I mean? And how good do you feel when people make an effort to sing for you on your birthday? So
mortified,
then, do you know,
brilliant.
Mortified, but brilliant. But you know, when someone else, we should be smiling and saying, you know, happy birthday. And because you're making that person just, if feel it's one day of the year, you're making someone feel good.
Yes.
And all this mental health stuff you talk, not you talk about, but we hear about. And all this, if people are just kinder and nicer, you know, it goes a long way in life.
And you know something, that's such a lovely attitude to have in your industry, Paul, because, you know, when people go in to buy something, they're feeling happy.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. Our job is to actually make sure we're there to, how do you put it? We're there to help you on your journey.
Yeah.
We're professionals. We're absolute professionals. My team know their diamonds inside out.
Yes.
So I love the way, now I'll hear half my girls from half a street away, you know. Shout out to you, Deirdre.
Hiya, Deirdre.
Actually, you can hear her here now and I'm in swords. But the laugh of the whole thing is, like, I know the girls are there. They absolutely, I'll hear them crying with the laughter.
Brilliant.
And I know that the people are happy.
Yeah.
And, you know, the ring is a formality.
Yes.
We're here to make sure the qualities are right. That's our professional job. We do all that. We have the workshops there. We do all the professional things. That's our makeup. That's who we are as a company. We have the goldsmiths. You can meet the goldsmiths. We can design a ring for you if you have a specific design. I said that without lisping. That was good. You know, I was slagging my lisp. Anyway, there we go. And but then, you know, it's actually after that, it's kind of like, now stand up, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Enjoy it. And it's kind of, you see the smile beginning to come.
I know.
I'm
even smiling for them now.
the serious face, all of a sudden, when the relaxation warmth kicks in, and kind of, oh my God, I love this. And it's kind of like you see a couple and it's just
and
lovely.
when they've picked it and they know that's the one, like what happens? Do you leave them on
lovely.
their own? Do you stay with them?
Absolutely. Have a glass of champagne, relax. And you know, it actually is, sometimes it's so nice. And some people want to take photographs and some people want a private moment. And some people might say, okay, well, we'll have the ring sized. And the girl will head off, if you know what I mean, and let him do, to use the phrase, the dirty work.
The money.
Yeah. And then, you know, we might play games with them and say, look, the ring won't be ready for whenever. And just the fun part starts then of
the crack.
How are you going to pop the question?
Yeah.
And we want to hear that, and we want to try and help him to make it, I don't know, and come on, we try and figure it out. So you're trying to that's the fun part of it. And
you're so personal with them, Paul. I love
but
it.
Ireland
but that's who you are.
No, but that's who my team are. It's not just me. I'm very lucky to work with people like that.
But it comes from you, Paul. So you have to take that now because it comes from you.
But
and
as I said, it's just good fun.
It's a lovely atmosphere.
Sense of mischief. Yeah, that's what I love, you know. And I do enjoy that, I have to say, you know. And that's even you know, they say in life, isn't it true? You know, couple, you know, only if they tease you in Ireland, you know, you only get slagged if you're liked. You know, people don't slag you if they don't like you. You know, so they don't tease you. I'm always saying to my partner, I only tease you because I like you. You know, I wouldn't. The day I stop teasing you is
it's over.
Well, you're teasing me too much. I can't take it anymore. And no, but it's actually a nice thing. And I think so. When we go back to that romantic thing a little bit of, let's call it the Italians and the gondola versus the Irish. The Irish guys like that little bit of, well, sure, go on then, you know. Will you marry me? I'm sure I might, you know. But they're doing it with a cute face, to use the phrase, you know. But it's their way, and it's good, you know.
So Paul Sheeran, I think we have to come to the end. We're talking now nearly 50 minutes, and I could talk to you for another 50 minutes, no bother. If people obviously want to get in touch with you, you are on Grafton Street, aren't you?
We're in Johnson's Court. We're in 3 locations now. We're in Johnson's Court for the Diamonds, which is the little stretch between Grafton Street and Powers Court.
Yes.
That's our main diamond hub.
Yeah.
We are on we're on Chatham Street for our watches, and that's hard to miss.
That's where you go, girls.
Well, everyone knows the watering. Everyone knows the lovely watering holes of Dublin. So Sheary's and Sheehan's, I beg your pardon.
Sheehan's.
Yeah. Sheehan's is right across the road, and Neary's.
Yeah.
And that's where the Guinness comes from.
Okay.
And then, but as I said, that's where they're located. And then Mont Blanc is on South Anne Street.
Okay.
So, and Mont Blanc is brilliant again, because Mont Blanc is fantastic for the we didn't touch on it, but the brides or the groomsmen's gifts.
The groomsmen's
gifts. We always get asked on that. And it's actually funny how that's slotted into our industry because and again, the funkiness of it all is the and I know we're wrapping up, but I want to tell you one quick story about sentiment in a minute. But because this brings me back to it. But they've all these leather bracelets, cufflinks and wallets and so they're easy things to give the other groomsmen and make life very easy. But it reminds me, and the reason I say it is I have 2 daughters. And when they were kids, we're, how do you put it, a blended family.
Yes.
So
were we, by the way.
Okay, when my kids were very young, we'd go on our holidays and we'd go to this one place we love going in France, and they'd always have these little bracelets and these little bracelets you put on. So every year, myself and my daughters, we would get our summer bracelet. So at one stage, I had to hide them all up my sleeve because they wouldn't come off. And I didn't want to cut them because the kids were talking about them and I was explaining to them about jewellery. Jewellery is about sentiment.
Yes.
And I was trying to teach them about the value of life, if you know what I mean. And sometimes people might assume that because we're jewellers, we have every bit of jewellery. And my kids will say, he'd be the blooming last one to give us jewellery. We have to beg for it, and I had this recently actually. But the laugh of the whole thing, I was trying to teach them it's important to understand what jewellery stands for. So anyway, Kerry had this little bracelet on her wrist and whatever. So next thing she started, and I think it was maybe senior infants or something like this. And on the first day in senior infants, the teacher started looking at the kids and there's no jewellery in the class and there's no nail varnish, and this is how we are in the school, and we're all, this. And she said, no, any jewellery, you have to leave it at home in future. And she goes to my daughter, and that'll have to come off. You can't be wearing those. And my daughter goes, but miss, this is not just jewellery. And she says, this is about sentiment. And she says, my daddy and I both get these for each other when we go on holidays. He has his one on his wrist. I have mine on my wrist. And every time I look at my one, I think of my daddy, and every time he looks at his one, he thinks of me. And he says, so, miss, she said, I can't cut that off.
Oh, God, love
and
her.
The teacher turned around and looked at her. And anyway, I think I was collecting Kerry from school a day or two later, and the teacher said, fair play to you. Fair play to you, Paul. She said, I've never been so left speechless by a child. She said, there was no way I could ask her. I thought it was going to ruin her life if I took this bracelet off. But I love that because we try to bring that through the whole business.
Absolutely.
And so the value is actually... It's actually something that nearly bugs me in the business. You have this, you have that person has that. Spend what you can, enjoy it, and don't be worried about what anyone else buys.
And if you need bridesmaids gifts or groomsmen's gifts,
I'm thrilled, Jenny. And do you know what? You are fantastic. And I have to say, you're a ray of sunshine on this lovely day today.
Come here, I just
really
love my
this.
job. What I do love, and I think I'm a little bit like you like this, I do love to help people. And that's why I do this podcast, because they love it,
you're a joy to be with. And I'll tell you what.
You want this table, don't you?
I'm telling you. It's lovely. No, I'm in the most beautiful little room here. And I have to say,
it's a very positive little space in here, isn't it?
Absolutely is. There's a guitar in the corner. So come by now in a few minutes.
Dan Campion owns this studio called Primal. So thank you, Dan, for allowing us to use it.
Thank you, Dan, and for the coffee.
Paul, thanks so much. Thank you so much.
No problem.